शिव बोल, शिव शिव बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। राम राम बोल, राम राम बोल। राम राम बोल, राम राम बोल। कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल। कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल। राधे राधे बोल, राधे राधे बोल। राधे राधे बोल, राधे राधे बोल। शिव शिव बोल, शिव शिव बोल। शिव शिव बोल, शिव शिव बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। 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 श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। हे नाम नारायण वासुदेवा। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। गोविंद हरे मुरारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। हे श्याम नारायण वासुदेवा। हे नाथ नारायण Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva He Nath Narayana Vasudeva He Sham Narayana Vasudeva He Ram Narayana Vasudeva He Sham Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva He Nath Narayana Vasudeva He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Everyone together. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Welcome to Satsang. Let's start with a short meditation together. So just allow your eyes to close. Take a moment and very consciously, Kishore bhi band kar do, and very consciously draw the awareness from being focused on the world outside to being focused on the world inside. Take a moment and really feel like you're gently but firmly grabbing the mind, grabbing the senses, of our ears, our smell, our nose, all of the external senses that we have, all the organs of sensation. Firmly grab the antenna of them, which are focused outside, picking up every signal, every sound, every smell, every change in the wind, every touch. Grab those antennae and gently but firmly pull them in. Draw the awareness to your breath. Take that gentle but firm grip of the awareness, the attention, and merge it into the breath. So as the breath flows in and out, our attention is completely immersed in it. If the mind wanders to a thought, to an emotion, to the perception of some sound or sensation, just draw it back. Don't fight it or judge it. But don't allow yourself to get carried off by it. Just bring the awareness back to the breath. And as much as possible, try to stay in one position. The more your body moves, the more your attention moves. Practice a bit of that physical discipline. And it helps keep the mind focused. As you inhale, notice on the inhalations that you're breathing in not just random oxygen, but you're breathing in the sacred energy of this holy land. Notice that you're breathing in an energy of awakening. As you breathe in, as you inhale, allow that sacred pran, that sacred energy to fill you inside, every corner, every nook and cranny. Allow the cells to be touched, awakened, illumined. With each inhalation, breathing in that energy of light, that energy of divinity. Breathe it in. Keep drawing the awareness back to the breath as we exhale the old and inhale the new. Inhale that which is sacred, holy, full of awakening and light. Allow that energy to flow through your entire being. And allow the awareness to be merged into it. Gently bring the palms of the hands together at chest level in Namaste and rub them gently against each other. Press the palms of your hands over your closed eyes. Slowly open your eyes and release your hands. Welcome to Satsang. We'll start as always with a question that's come in advance and then open it up to any questions that anyone here may have. God is love, and by being in contact with our source, love will grow and expand. Yes, asked by someone who either comes to satsang a lot or listens to satsang online a lot. It will not contract. But sometimes, because I speak a lot about when we're connected to source, we expand and we grow. And the way to know that a path is right is you're expanding rather than contracting. But sometimes it's difficult to distinguish between attachment and love. Can you share your thoughts on this? it's much easier to understand the distinction between love and attachment by a felt sense inside than by an intellectual distinction. And so here's what it looks like. When I love, so close your eyes for a moment and just think about someone you love, someone for whom loving is easy. You just love them fully, completely. They fill you with joy. Notice the way that thinking about that person, even for a moment, notice the way it makes you feel. Just bring them up in your mind for a moment and feel their presence, this being you love so much. Now bring up the image of someone whom you also love and care about, but someone whom you find yourself constantly worried about losing that person. You find yourself constantly worried about what that person's going to do or say. Are they going to make a mistake, make a mess, do what you want, not do what you want, stay with you, not stay with you? Think about that person for a moment. And as you think about that person, allow in your mind an experience of them not doing what you want, not saying what you want, not being how you want. Allow that drama experience, memory, fear, to arise in the mind as you think about them. Okay, open the eyes. What did you notice that you felt in the first situation? Just throw out words. I'm not going to go around and call on you. But what did you feel in the first situation when you thought about somebody who you just loved fully and completely? What does it feel like inside you? Joy. Great. What else? Harmony. Yes, joy, harmony. Anything else? I'm sorry? Unconditional. Yes, absolutely. Unconditional love. Lightness. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sorry? Happiness. Absolutely. Of course. There's no wrong answer here, by the way. Anything else? Safe. Yes. Great. Anything else?
Expansion.
I'm sorry?
Expansion.
Explanation. Expansion. Yes, absolutely. Expansion. Yes. In the body, talk to me for a moment. Joy, happiness, safety, all this. These are products of the mind. We may think we're feeling it in the heart, but it's actually a product of the mind. Talk to me for a moment about the felt sense, physical experience in your body. He said expansion, you said lightness. So these are felt sense experiences in the body, right? Does anybody feel ease in the body at that time? When you think about that person? Yeah? Anybody feel a sense of softness in the body, gentleness in the body at that time? Anyone feel that?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay. Anything else physically in the body that you feel?
It's a comfort and the calmness which is bringing
Yeah.
that moment.
Comfort in the body. Okay, great. So on a physical felt sense, we've got expansion and lightness and ease and comfort. In terms of our emotional feeling state, we have joy, we have peace, we have unconditionalness, we have all of this. Okay. Now talk to me about the second situation. Also someone you love, but someone with whom there's sort of some more strings, you could say. Drama, you could say. Talk to me about what does that feel like in the body when you think about especially that person doing or saying or being in a way that isn't what you want. How does that feel in the body? Panic. I'm sorry? Panic, yes, panic. Great. We'll come back to panic in a second. What else?
Uncomfort and fear.
Uncomfort, fear, yes. Hesitation, yes. Anxiety, absolutely. Now, let's take fear, panic, anxiety for a moment. These are, again, emotional states. Felt sense, physical experience at that time is what?
Bliss.
Hmm?
Bliss. Bliss.
Yes.
Bliss. Yeah, that's blessing.
Hmm?
Pleasure.
Person.
Pleasure.
Pressure. Yes, exactly. Pressure. Sorry. Yes. Pressure, absolutely. What else? What does it feel like in your chest and your heart? Think for a moment. Hurts, yeah. Anybody notice he had said expansion earlier? Anybody notice a sense of contraction inside? Now we know always that fear, panic, these things make us contract anyway. If I'm entering a room full of people who love me, I know they love me. Even if there's only one person in the room, doesn't matter how many there are. But I know that in that room, whoever is in that room, 1 person, 10 people, 100 people, they love me. I enter that room like this. I'm open. I may not actually do this with my arms, but internally I am open. I enter a room, whether I'm walking into a board meeting, whether I'm walking into a meeting with our competitors, there's a deal that's going downhill, or I'm a kid, I'm walking into the principal's office, I'm in trouble. How do we walk in? We're like this, right? I'm coming home with a bad report card, it's like this. Or I'm coming home to tell my family I got fired from work. We're like this. Fear contracts. Love and comfort expands. There's an ease in the body. And I mention this because when you're looking to distinguish between pure love, this unconditional love, and attachment, rather than me giving you a checklist that you go through, if I've got, 5 out of 7 over here, it's love. If I've got 5 out of 8 over here, it's attachment. Rather than that, because ultimately the goal of a spiritual path, the goal of satsang, is not that you take it as, well, this is the list Sadhviji gave and there's, 5 points out of 8 over here. No. But ultimately that through satsang, your connection to your own truth expands. Your connection to your own truth strengthens. So that when you go out into the world, it's not, what would Sadhviji say about this? Oh, wait, what did she say? What's the right answer? But rather that your connection to yourself, to your truth, is so strong that you know the answer. So that's my goal of satsang. And so this is why when I say, what does it feel like in your mind and body? Because that's what you are walking out of this room with. I don't want you to walk out with a checklist that I give you. I want you to walk out with an ability to tap into yourself and know that answer. And so what we have just discovered in 3 minutes is when something is pure unconditional love, I feel at ease in the body. I feel comfort. I feel joy. I feel happiness. I feel expansion. There is a peace not just in my mind, but in the actual muscles of my body. Where there is attachment, there is fear, there is panic, there is anxiety, there is pressure, a physical pressure. There is a physical sense of contraction. We know also, by the way, that there's a whole physical state that accompanies fear and panic. My hands get sweaty. My whole vision contracts. And so if you notice in life that in a relationship, you find yourself very focused on a particular aspect of what someone is doing or saying or how they're behaving, or you find yourself very focused on holding them close to you, clipping their wings in some way, fear that if you leave that door open for too long, they're going to fly out. And so if you find yourself strategically manipulating, and that doesn't mean it's bad. Our intentions are very pure. We want this person to be with us. We want them to do what we want them to do. We want them to live the way we want them to live. But what you notice is there's fear. And there's this tunnel vision. Oh my God, are they going to do it? Oh my God, are they going to obey? Oh my God, what about this? Oh my God, what about that? Whereas when it's unconditional love, I'm set in it. I know it's not going anywhere. Where can it go? Where's it going to go? You can take away the body, but you can't take away the love. You can take away the house, you can take away the job, you can take away everything. But you can't take away the love. Because it transcends everything. That's what unconditional means. Not conditional, not dependent on you showing up on time, you acting the way I want you to act, you calling me darling and bringing me chocolates. It's not conditional upon anything. It just is. There's a beautiful line in a poem by Khalil Gibran, who's probably my favorite poet, about the way that the flower gives its fragrance to the sole of the shoe that has crushed it. And to me, there is no greater, vivid example of what unconditional love looks like than that. It's not loving because somebody acts a certain way. It's loving because that is who I am and what I do. I am a flower. What I give is fragrance. You bend down, you smell me, you pat me very gently, I give you fragrance. You step on me, I give you fragrance. Now, unfortunately for you in the world, you've killed me, so there's no more fragrance left to give after the one on the bottom of your shoe fizzles away in a few moments. But I give that fragrance because it is who I am. Unconditional love is a product of the lover, not the beloved. And that's a very crucial aspect to remember. I love you unconditionally, not because of what you do, not because of what you say. Because if you actually unconditionally love someone's every action, every word, every behavior, and you've known them for decades, either you've been asleep or drugged or seriously repressed and in denial, or you managed to be in a relationship truly with a saint. Because always people make mistakes. People do something out of fear, out of arrogance. We all do. I mean, is there anyone in this room who can raise their hand and say, I've never acted out of ignorance? I've never acted out of fear. I've never acted out of grasping or pushing. We all do. And when we do, it hurts the people around us. And so if you actually love every single thing someone has done for decades, long relationship, either that person is truly a saint and has never acted out of ignorance or fear, or you are asleep. Because you can't love the action if the action is one that's rooted in ignorance, ego, fear. What we love is the doer of the action. So that action, that word, that statement, what you did, okay, maybe not right. Don't love it. But I still love you. I love the essence of you. I love the soul of you, the spirit of you, the truth of you. Because as we all know, when we do those things, what do we always say? I don't know what happened. It wasn't me. Pata nahi kya hua mujhko. Jaise kahin se bhoot aa gaya. Like from somewhere, somebody possessed me. Some ghost came, took over my body, did something wrong. That's how we always feel when we do it. Is I don't know what happened. It wasn't me. Neto, there would be no point to ever say that wasn't what I meant. I didn't mean it. If you didn't mean it, why'd you say it? Right? I mean, what a common thing we all say, I didn't mean it. Well, so then why'd you say it? Iska matlab, in that moment, the I who didn't mean it was not the I who was in charge of what you were saying or doing. Some other aspect of the, what we call false self or not true self, the ego, the desires, the fear, the subconscious programming, the identification, all of that, some aspect of that, was running your show. And then later, you realized, oh my God, what this guy did, what this lady did, what she said. And I mention this because when we talk about real love or unconditional love, it always comes up, well, but what do I do about when he hurts me or she hurts me? It's not about I have to suddenly love or even like everything they say or do. But what it means is that my love is not dependent on what they say or do. My love is not rooted in their actions or their words. My love is rooted in the truth of who they are, their soul, their spirit, their consciousness, their essence. And what's so beautiful about that is, in order to love someone on that level, you have to come at it from that level in yourself. And so when you do, you expand. When you do, that death grip that we have on our minds loosens. And we're able to drop into a place. Someone said comfort. Comfort in the universe. Like suddenly, somebody said safety. Suddenly the universe is a safe place to be. Suddenly I don't have to micromanage everything, what you're doing, how you're sitting, how you're eating, how you're dressing, what time you're showing up. Because my love isn't dependent on that. I can appreciate it or not appreciate it, approve of it or not approve of it, and it has no bearing on my ability to love you and therefore my ability to feel safe and comfortable and expanded and at ease in the universe. And so this is how we know. Attachment makes us contract. Pure love, unconditional love, makes us expand. So if you ever find yourself contracting, it doesn't, by the way, mean that you don't really love that person. It just means that mixed in with the love are some attachments. And you just have to get rid of them. It's like sometimes you get this beautiful bowl of khichdi and you're eating it, and in the middle you notice that, for whatever reason, some of the little dal didn't actually cook properly, and so there's a few pieces of like these hard lentils in it, right? But it doesn't ruin the whole bowl of khichdi. You just move it aside and you keep eating. You're still able to enjoy it. It's still able to nourish you. But you have to remove those, because if you try to bite into those, you lose all of the joy and you break your teeth. And so in the same way, as we're loving, when you notice those hard places, those places of contraction, just figure out, how can I remove those? How can I let go? How can I realize that this thing is what's keeping me from being at peace in the moment and in the greater moment? And we let them go. So with that, I'm happy to open it up to any other questions that anyone here may have.
Can I just make an observation?
Sure.
In both the contracting and the expanding love, there is a common ground. There is the unity in both experiences. Both experiences are being experienced in one place.
Yes.
So both experiences are being experienced by the self. The experience isn't external. The experience is within the self. So whether contracting or expanding, it's still the self.
Of course.
So love and pure love is the self.
Yes, of course.
Pure love is pure consciousness, the self. And the self is Atma.
Yes, of course.
That is your true
Mhm.
nature. So if you find the experience that in some situation you're feeling comfortable, you're feeling blissful,
Yes.
you're feeling expanding, and in some experience you're feeling contracting and you're feeling restricted, then just to know intellectually,
Yes, yes.
even though it's an experience, so both experiences...
Sorry, on live this program, audio is not available.
Sorry?
Audio is not available, mic audio. So live program.
Got it. What he's saying is that what you're saying is not able to go into, because of the audio, that he's not getting the audio feed for the live, and so the people who are watching it are not actually able to be hearing what you're saying. That's what he was just sharing. But that's okay. Keep going. We're hearing it at least. We're hearing it at least. Yes, yes.
Just an observation.
Yes, no, it's very beautiful, and I'll speak to it for a moment with the mic for those who are not here in this room. What he was saying is that all of the experience we have, the experience of expansion, the experience of contraction, both we are experiencing it within the self, of course. It's all here. And that experience of love is here. That experience of love, of course, is who we are. When we speak so frequently about the true self, and I always say, call it soul, call it spirit, call it consciousness, call it love, call it truth. Love is the truth of who we are. Love is the truth of our soul, our spirit, our essence. And when we're in a situation where we're feeling contracted, rather than having this thought that says, oh God, I'm, a failure at this love thing or a failure at this spirituality thing, to realize, oh wait, that experience of expansion is also within me. That experience of love is also within me. That it's not something that I have to get from outside. And to, in that moment, be able, and I'm extrapolating from the beautiful foundation that he gave, to be able to go into that.
The point I was making is that there is nothing but the self.
Yes.
There is nothing but the self. So if you feel some agitation, that agitation is just the disconnection from the self.
Yes.
Because every single experience you'll ever experience in your life is within the self.
Yes, absolutely.
And so all of these things we all go through, circumstances, changes, many things in life,
Yes.
turmoils, people saying something which they didn't mean to say. Even in the Ramayana, KK, when she speaks to Ram, they say that Saraswati was on her tongue.
Yes.
So we don't have to feel some inadequacy or something like this, or some feeling we're doing something wrong. So these are natural experiences that are taking place in the self. And through your beautiful talk, we're realizing that when we meditate and we gain more and more pure consciousness, that means we gain more and more experience of the self. Then ultimately we realize everything is nothing but the self. Everything we perceive, everything we enjoy,
Yes.
everything we don't enjoy is just the self.
Of course.
And this is the ultimate
Yes.
reality of safety,
Yes.
comfort, happiness, and joy.
Yes. Yes.
So, and this is the point.
Yes, beautiful.
Everything takes place with you.
Yes, of course.
Nothing is
Of course.
without
Yes.
you, so
Yes.
nothing is not you.
Yes.
Everything is.
And without going too much into that, because I do want to make time for these questions, I wanted to just comment on a point that he raised about everything being within the self. Because when questions arise and we talk about pieces of ourself that we would like to be free of, my anger, my grudges, my emotions, my this, my that. I mean, every night people come in, how do I get free of this? How do I get free of that? And the awareness that the true self is infinite, and that it's not about removing things from ourself. It's about removing things from the experience that we are having of that moment, meaning where our attention and focus is. Because you cannot simultaneously, unless you've been meditating for a very long time, which is one of the beautiful results of meditation, is to be able to hold that expanded awareness. But for most people who don't have that full grasp, especially if you're not sitting in meditation but you're moving through the world, is to be focused on the aspect which is expansive rather than the aspect that feels contracted. And a way to think about it is this. I have this glass of water, okay? So if you take a rock, or 4 rocks, and you throw them in my glass of water, what's going to happen? It's full, by the way. Full glass of water. What's going to happen? Water will come out. Exactly. If you take those same rocks and you throw them in my bathtub full of water, what's going to happen? Yeah, the water will move a little bit. Probably is not going to come over the top of the bathtub, but it'll move a little bit. Now you take those rocks, you go out on a boat in the middle of the ocean, you drop them in the ocean. What's going to happen? So what most of us do in life, the rocks are the things that we would like to not have in our lives, the things that we come in and say, how do I remove this, remove that, get rid of this, get rid of that? Those are the rocks. And whether it's annoyance at a boss or an employee or an in-law or a family member, or whether it's something within myself, an emotion, an experience, whatever it may be, those are the rocks. Most of us live as that cup. And so when we have them, they cause this experience within us of, oh, I'm agitated, right? I'm agitated because there's these rocks, and there's this emotion, or there's this experience, or there's this really troublesome colleague, or whatever it may be. And we overflow. The goal in spiritual life is not about how do I keep those rocks away, but how do I become the ocean? Rather, how do I realize I am the ocean? It's not about actually becoming the ocean. It's about having my awareness be awareness of the truth of the ocean of me. There will be rocks. It's part of the experience of being a spiritual being, a boundless, beginningless, endless Atma, soul, spirit, consciousness in a physical human body with a physical brain that's having emotional experiences, thought forms, chemical and electrical. There will be rocks. But if I realize I am ocean, then they don't impact me so much. And I realize I can just create space. Can I create more and more space? And it's a beautiful practice. If you feel an aspect of agitation internally, whether because you're contracting in fear, due to an emotion you're having inside, whether due to an emotion that's being triggered by an experience that's happening outside, whatever it may be. A thought that arises automatically in the mind, a thought that's triggered by the environment, either way. When it comes, rather than trying to figure out how to push it away, can you expand? Can you expand the self? Can you keep expanding, keep expanding, keep expanding? So it's another way of thinking about it. Rather than having to remove every uncooked lentil in my beautiful kitchery, I realize that my bowl of kitchery is infinite. And I make sure that the spoon I'm eating with is large enough that my experience is one as close to the infinite in every moment as possible. Yes, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Either way. We'll take both of you and then end.
We just discussed like of the two conditions, loving two kind of people. When the first case, people said that the first person made them feel a sense of comfort and safety, whereas in the other case of loving the other person, made them a sense of anxiety or discomfort, or we can say contraction, whatever you might call. But what if that second person makes you feel alive or adds meaning to everything around you? That wakes you up.
Great. Okay. Raise your hand if you like drama. I am not the only one in this room who likes drama. I guarantee it. Raise your hand if you like drama. That experience of this relationship causes me great anxiety. I feel anxious, I feel contracted, I feel all of that in this relationship. But wow, is it passionate. Wow, do I feel alive. This is what you could think about as an addiction to drama. And it's something that a lot of people have, most of us, some level of preferring drama to lack of drama. The dilemma is drama takes us out of the self. Drama, especially in our relationships, actually is a very subtle psychological defense mechanism. If I can constantly be going up and down in my relationship with you, fighting, making up, fighting, making up, fighting, making up, I don't have to go deeply in myself. If we can constantly have this passion thing going on, I don't have to sit with the void in myself. And if you can't sit in the void, you'll never experience the everythingness that comes from melting and merging into the emptiness. Without fear, without anxiety, of knowing that in that emptiness is everythingness. But that void, that too quiet, that most people experience when left alone is terrifying. This is why we do everything we can to avoid being bored. Otherwise, boredom would not be as bad of an experience as most people make it. Oh, I'm so bored. Oh my God, I'm so bored. Oh my. Tika, for 5 minutes, you've got nothing to do. Okay, sit, close your eyes. It's not such a big deal. But we run away from boredom as fast as we can. Why? Because in that boredom, I'm face to face with myself. Now we've got our smartphone. Now we never have to be bored. Wherever you are, whatever situation, there is always some nonsense you can read. You've done your work. You've seen the important messages. But oh my God, you still have time. You're bored. Okay, chalo, read anything. To avoid being bored. Because that boredom forces us inward. And so what I would say about a relationship that is full of anxiety, full of all of this, full of the contraction, full of the ups and downs, but makes you feel alive, is ask yourself, why do I need that drama to feel alive? Think about the ocean for a moment. On the ocean, we have waves on the surface. Okay. You look at the ocean from sitting on the top of a cliff, and what you see are big ocean, some waves on the top of the ocean. But if you ever put on a snorkel mask, and you actually get your face to look under the water, it's gorgeous. Then you talk to people who scuba dive. I've never scuba dived, but I've talked to a lot of people who do. And what they say is snorkeling is nothing compared to scuba diving. The deeper you go, the more alive it is. But if you haven't been to the depths, you think that what the ocean has to offer is waves to boogie board on, waves to surf on. And it's not that it isn't fun for a little while. Lots of people love surfing, nothing wrong with it. But as far as a life, life is not about surfing on the waves, the thrills of the up, the panic of the down. Life is actually about the exquisite beauty of the depths. But you've got to get off the waves on the surface in order to get down. And so I would say take that leap and try to find a way to feel alive inside without needing to ride the waves of a tempestuous relationship, of a passionate relationship that takes you up and throws you down and takes you up and throws you down. Because that just keeps you on the surface. There's a lot more life, real life, in the depths. But you've got to have the courage to go there. You have to have the courage to brave what you think is going to be boredom, to brave that void in order to experience the exquisite everythingness on the other side. Yes. Last for tonight.
Yes. I just want to ask one thing is that we see the influence of the hormones and the neurotransmitters that we see. We read about how the hormones like thyroid and so many hormones which are released by the pituitary gland of our brain, they influence the body in so many different ways. We also see that there are, I'm a doctor myself, so I've been seeing patients lying in the ICU, no matter how aware they might have been, and I've been with some people who've had spiritual experiences also. But after acute illness, like we talked about Neem Karoli Baba also, he was suffering from diabetic ketoacidosis and kneeling. I'm sorry, I'm really nervous at this point asking you all this. But what I want to ask is that no matter how much of meditation we might do and how much of the awakening that we might have, and how much we might have realized ourselves as, but this sleep pattern, the moment we sleep and get up in the morning, we're just the same. The moment we come out of the illness, we're just the same. I just want to ask that those people who are enlightened, do they have that sense when they're, at the times when their consciousness is depressed because of the disease? Do they have that enlightenment? Do they have, what exactly goes with those people at the time when they die and they leave the body, or at the time when they're ill? Because no matter how much advanced they might be in their spiritual practice or whatever, but when I examine them, they're just the same, just like any other human being. They go through the same pain, they go through the same illness, their level of consciousness is same depressed as that of other patients. There's absolutely no difference in their being at that point of time. And the biggest thing is they're as drowsy as somebody else. They go into coma, we give them drugs, we revive them.
Okay, I get it. Okay. No, that's okay. I understand. So,
Can you repeat the
yeah,
question?
I'll repeat the question. Sure. No problem. No problem. So, the question is really where enlightenment and the physical body, including the hormones, the neurotransmitters, all of that that's taken, the chemicals in the body, the medicines that we get when we're sick in the hospital, how does our state of spiritual enlightenment interact with that, because he said, I'm a doctor, and when you examine even enlightened people, they have pain in the same way, and if we give them medicine and drugs, they're drowsy in the same way. Okay. So it's a slightly complex topic for our last question, but I'll take it as fully but also as succinctly as possible. It's a yes and rather than an either or. We all have the same physical body. Enlightenment does not change the function of your physical body. What it changes is the relationship of the parts of my brain/mind that are in my control over the rest of the body. So for example, if I go for a certain period of time without eating, my stomach is going to growl. I'm going to have noises and it's going to make noise, it's going to cramp, it's going to do all kinds of things, it's going to send signals to my brain that say hunger, hunger, hunger. Most people at that time look for the nearest food place. The stomach of the enlightened person is going to do the same things. But when it hits the brain, when it starts getting into cerebral cortex consciousness areas of the brain, when it gets into the part of the brain that starts sending a message that says, gotta find food, where's my pizza, where's my sandwich, why haven't I had lunch, oh my God, I'm so hungry, I'm gonna die. That doesn't happen.
Why doesn't that happen?
Our meditative practice, our experiences, change our brain. We know this now. There's lots of scientific evidence that everything we do changes our brain, including meditation. And so my brain literally gets changed. I'll give you a very simple example. Pavlov's dogs, right? Have a situation, scientist rings a bell, feeds the dogs, rings a bell, feeds the dogs, rings a bell, feeds the dogs. Slowly rings a bell, the dogs salivate, even before there's food. He has changed their brain in such a way, otherwise most people hear a bell, they don't salivate. A bell does not make me think of food, but he's rewired their brains in such a way that that bell makes them salivate. Now you stop giving them food, you ring the bell, they still salivate. Brain has been changed. I give that as a very simple example that everything that happens in our life is changing our brains. When I meditate, and I stop giving in to that signal that says hunger. If every time that hunger signal comes, I rush for food, that creates what we call a sanskara. Or neurologically, we talk about a pattern or a network. Right? They say neurons that fire together wire together. You fire together enough times, you wire together. Bells, salivation. But if you stop firing together, bell but no food, eventually they stop salivating. They don't keep salivating forever. Ring the bell without giving food enough times in a row, those dogs will stop salivating at the sound of the bell. Brain will change again. Same way. If I stop responding every time my brain gets a signal that says, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I have a sexual urge, I'm angry and want to hit somebody, I'm bored and want to go on Facebook, I'm frustrated and want to drink beer. If every time I have that thought or emotion I engage in an action, That's how my brain gets wired. But if I stop engaging in that action, we get extinction of that neural network, okay? So it's a long discussion. Point being, how we act, how we respond changes our brain. Now, we come to medicine and death. Chemicals in the brain that cause fatigue are going to work on the same systems whether you're enlightened or not. Enlightened doesn't mean I'm immune to all drugs. I'm immune to some drugs. They've done funny stories, great stories actually, of Paramhans Yoganandaji's disciples giving him LSD, of Neem Karoli Baba's disciples giving him LSD and basically nothing happening because they're already living in that state. So on some level, being enlightened creates a situation where flood their brains full of chemicals and it doesn't have that impact. But depending on the network that those chemicals are working on, of course it's going to have an impact. An experience of physical pain is something of the physical body. Being enlightened doesn't mean you don't experience physical pain. It would be very dangerous if we didn't. If you have diabetes and you start losing sensation, that's where you actually end up needing amputation because somebody doesn't even know they've got an infection going on. What they lose, or what changes, is the experience of suffering. So physical pain is still there. But where most of us, when there's physical pain, it leads to emotional suffering. Oh, why me? This isn't fair. Oh my God. But my friend also smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Why am I the one with lung cancer? Or I didn't even smoke. This guy smoked. Why did I get it? This isn't fair. I hate God. I hate the universe. I hate everybody. This is suffering. That's what they don't experience.
What about when they go drowsy?
What about what?
When they go drowsy,
Getting
they are
drowsy.
aware of themselves. They cannot feel pain. They cannot feel anything. How do they feel that they're enlightened? That time they even forget about that also, I guess. How can they remember in the morning if they don't get up or they go into coma for a few days? How would you
Are you here tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because I mention it because it's actually a great topic. Not so much this necessarily particular interest in what happens to enlightened people when they get in a hospital and get morphine injections. That's a very specific sort of situation. But to me, what's interesting and exciting is it takes us into that place of where the physical chemistry of our brain, the physical chemistry of our body meets spiritual practice. And the impact that spiritual practice has on our physical chemistry. That's a very interesting place. So let's start with that tomorrow. Wonderful. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening, and we'll see you all tomorrow.